Week 5, Language Play. In week 1 of this module, we argued that instruction for bilingual readers, which focuses on the drier aspects of reading, can lead to further struggle and frustration. How can we address the area of grammar and conventions with a sense of curiosity and play versus dread and drudgery? How can I help my bilingual learners develop a curiosity for the way language works? We'll start this week by looking at the work of Dr. Lance Gentile. Dr. Gentile analyzed over 2,000 stories dictated in English and examined 500 writing journals of first grade students who were participating in a reading recovery program. Students who were successful in the program consistently used these 5 most common language structures in their oral language. Number 1, simple sentences. Then simple sentences containing prepositional phrases, then sentences with conjunctions, sentences with relative pronouns, and number 5, sentences that contain 2 phrases linked by an adverb. So those who are not as successful in the reading program did not use these 5 structures. Furthermore, students who were successful in the reading program frequently composed transformed sentences. That means they took a simple sentence and they converted it to a negative statement, a question, a command, or an exclamation. Students who were not as successful in the program were much more likely to stick to simple sentences. So what does this research tell us? It tells us 2 things. Number 1, students' oral language, specifically if they're able to use more complex sentence structures, helps their reading. We already knew that because reading floats on a sea of talk. Number 2, giving students practice with the structures of English with language-rich activities is a worthwhile pursuit. So you may be tempted to think that you need to teach the components and rules for each type of sentence, like this is a prepositional phrase, this is a conjunction. That might not be a terrible idea, but rather let's think about language play. The children in Gentile's study learned English language structures through authentic opportunities to talk and listen and through extensive language play. They didn't learn rules about the structure of the English language. It is this sense of play that we want to emphasize when we create activities around English grammar. Language play is not free-form talk. Rather, we structure activities to have children explore and manipulate words and phrases. We will experiment with 3 activities this week: syntax surgery, Dicta Gloss, and sentence transformation. Syntax surgery is a way to visually manipulate the words of a sentence. Imagine each of these words on a separate card. The task is to arrange the words in the sentence to make sense. For example, the words could be arranged this way. Or we could say it this way, or this way, or this way. The idea is to play with the many ways that we can combine words to make sentences. We always want to encourage conversation, so we ask, what's your favorite choice and why? Or why would somebody say it this way instead of this way? Syntax surgery can work with a simple text, or you can use a challenging primary source document from social studies. You could use complex math problems, thorny paragraphs from nonfiction texts. The important point to remember, we want to encourage play, higher level analysis around language, and dialogue. The next strategy we're going to talk about is Dicta Gloss. Dicta Gloss is a type of dictation activity. You may think, dictation, how old school, how sit in a desk traditional can you be? But Dicta Gloss is not like a traditional dictation. It is collaborative, engaging, and we hope playful. So here are the steps. You select a text, usually a text that is connected to the content you're teaching. Read the text orally once, and students just listen. Then you reread the text. Students jot down keywords and phrases. Then you pair students together and they recreate as much of the text as they can, as close to the original as possible. As you can imagine, there's a lot of dialogue here between students. Then you take the 2 pairs and pair them together to make a group of 4. And once again, they pool and reconstruct the text more completely. The last step is to compare the original text with the reconstructed text. Students may see this as correcting their work, but it's much more than that. Their errors can instigate lively conversations. For example, you could ask, why do you think you got confused? And does this sentence still make sense? And this could be a ripe opportunity to point out the difference between social and academic language. It's also an amazing experiment in understanding what your students really are hearing, as the example with the Pledge of Allegiance. Last, we have sentence transformation. It's simple but powerful brainstorming activity. You start with a simple sentence and you give the instructions to transform the sentence to another form. So if we start with the sentence, Elena went to the store to buy some milk, and say, transform this sentence to a negative. Most likely you're going to get, Elena didn't go to the store to buy some milk. The trick here is to keep asking for other ways to transform the sentence. So you say, give me another way you can transform the sentence. There's so many possibilities. It wasn't Elena who went to the store to buy milk. Elena went to the store, but she didn't buy milk. Elena didn't go to the store. She went to the farmhouse to buy some milk. Elena went to the store to buy some milk. Not. So, once again, this leads to rich conversation. Why would you choose one version over another? What makes one sentence sound more formal and another less formal? You can build sentence transformation into your classroom routines and then support students in using that creative type of thinking in their own writing. Why are these techniques so powerful for bilinguals? Once again, we're using authentic text connected to a theme. We're paying close attention to language structure, and there's a lot of collaboration and dialogue. These activities also blend listening, speaking, reading, and writing together. Thank you.